So Freefall is what I kind of titled this. Freefall is, others have used this term to kind of describe this. And I think it's a decent term, although words don't describe this, what this is, what's happening, apparently. The mind has all kinds of stories about it. And by the mind, I just mean a series of thoughts that appear as this, in this, these apparitions, this appearance of what we're calling reality. The mind makes a story of it. It creates time. It creates space. It creates a history. It creates an identity called me that owns the experience. But what can seemingly happen is that appearance of identity, of the me that's owning experience, that's aware of this, interacting with this, that me can simply stop. Just like when you leave a room, the room's no longer there. When the me relaxes or temporarily disappears or permanently disappears, you have no idea because you don't know anything. There can be just this without the center of a me experiencing it. So then what's experiencing it? Nothing. In a sense, you could say it's self-experiencing, but even that's just making a story. It's making something, because that's what mind does. It makes things, out of no things. And so what that can feel like, if there's anything that it feels like, is a kind of free fall. Imagine an infant that's born into the world, no sense of self. It's just pure experience, just pure thisness. And every moment is refreshed, brand new, brand new, brand new. Some of us can remember that sense of being a child, a young child, before the sense of self really became reified, became such a real illusion that it sticks with us. And we see everything through it, right? The human condition, supposedly. Before the human condition really kicks in, everything is just a kind of centerless wonder. And there's no one having it. It's just, there's no separation from it. The whole thing is just thinging. It's a kind of free fall. And I say free fall because there's no center to it, so it's always falling away before it even happens. And for the me sense, that sense of I'm a person behind my eyes experiencing this, that is really disconcerting. But when the me sense relaxes, and sometimes that happens just in a flow state, it happens when you're so engrossed in something that the sense of I'm doing this drops and there's just the doing this. That's a kind of free fall. In a way, that's why it's called flow, because it just... And we spend... the sense of me spends so much time... I'll pull your comments up. The sense of me spends so much of its energetic time, it's creating time, actually. Me can only exist in time because me happens in time, and time is another construction of this sense of self. Like, I have a future and a past. I was born, I will die, all that. But when me kind of comes back and tries to explain or experience this, it fumbles around with the only tool it has, which is to make something of nothing. So it starts using words like flow or free fall or whatever. And some people will say, it was very disorienting, or I had a sense of fear, panic. And others will say it was the first time I felt free. There was a sense of bliss and perfection. There was just what was happening, and it felt like a flow state. So people who talk about flow states in sports or in activities or in nature, they speak in this way. But often they're not speaking from the place, the placeless place, the no place, because it's very hard. When that's occurring, there isn't a speaker anymore. There's just speaking. But often they're speaking from the sense of me that's back, apparently, this appearance of me, and it's trying to make sense. And so a lot of what you'll hear in spirituality and these people that are talking online and books and all that is this like, oh, there's this freedom and awakening and bliss that happens where you wake up into reality and see it what it is, and it's liberation, it's freedom, and that's all wonderful. It's all a total crock of shit, because there is no awakening in that sense. Because who is it that would awaken? This is all a story. This type of spirituality is all a story told from the perspective of an illusion, the sense of me. So if that just drops, there's no awakening. What is there to wake up? There's just this. Freefall. That's another way to say it. That's another word. It's totally wrong. It's colors, sounds, sensations, thoughts. In fact, let's go a step further. It's every single fucking thing that could be. Everything. Nothing is excluded, including the confusion you're having at what I'm saying. That also is it. Is this appearance showing up mysteriously, magically, you could say, from nowhere you can find. That doesn't mean it's not something. Maybe it's nothing, but we're making nothing something because we're using words, but can't say a word about it. So what's the obvious response? Silence. And speaking from silence, the free fall just continues to free fall, falling and falling and falling and falling and falling. No meaning to it, no direction to it. It's not coming and going. It's not coming from where and going somewhere. Those are thoughts. Thoughts show up. Thoughts are there. Thoughts are this. No meaning. No solidity. No reference point. Just falling and falling and falling and falling eternally. Out of time. Time stops when you stop. The sense of you, the me, stops. This has been called freedom, but freedom for who? For no one. Freedom from an illusory belief in an illusory apparition called self, called me. So when you're talking from me is always trying to defend and to argue and to persuade and to justify and to find sense and meaning to make things out of no things. But when you're, you can't even say you're, when speaking happens from nowhere, it sounds fucking strange like this. Evan says, speaking right at it from the get-go. Love it. And what is it? Wasn't that a Faith No More song? What is it? You say, what is it? It's one big question mark, but nobody's questioning. Nobody's home. There isn't a real thing called you. Just appearances, beliefs, energetic sense of a view. It's an appearance. That's all wonderful. You can believe it fully and live an entirely human life. People say that in spiritual circles, they'll say, you're asleep. The fuck does that mean? It's appearing perfectly for no one. There's an illusion that there's you there. So what? Now, if there's a bunch of suffering, sometimes that you can crack. The illusion can crack. It's almost too much for the energetic sense to apparently bear, and it cracks, and then it's seen. And those cracks can be temporary, fleeting, or they can be apparently permanent or long-lasting. It doesn't matter. And there's nothing you can do to make that happen, because the very act of doing is the illusion of me. It is the seeker. It is the doer that continues to perpetuate the illusion of separation from all that is done. And when that relaxes, it's just doing, just doing, just the doing, just sounding, seeing, that's it. Free fall. No meaning, no direction, no purpose. Beautiful. Beautiful for no one. Freedom for no one. Freedom for freedom. Does it make sense? No, of course not. Can't. The me cannot make sense of it. In fact, the me, as it starts, so this, what's been happening here is, as the me starts to crack more and more and more and go and then come back and then go for longer and come back, it starts to, I'm personifying this thing because it is the person, the sense of person. It starts to despair because it knows the jig is up. It truly feels awful, like you're dying. The me is so horrified seeing its own end that the seeking that it's done since it was very young doesn't have to be for this to be. It does not like that because its whole movement of patterning is to keep doing, to keep finding solutions to problems it invents. And the reason I'm laughing while saying this is because from here, it's like seen as total nonsense. So what if the me is upset? It's an illusion. It's like saying a mirage is upset. A mirage feels like it's dying. It's absolute silliness. It's the cosmic joke that is spoken of by no one. Let's see. That's right, Joel. You want it all, but you can't have it. You say, what is it? Faith no more. Margie's sitting on a beach in Port Arkansas, Texas, submerged in mindfulness. Does it get any better than just watching waves and birds on the shore? I believe I'm here. Awesome, Margie. So that is exactly what's appearing. That's exactly what's appearing. I'm going to take some liberties with what you just said. Margie is appearing as a sense of a separate one. Energetically, there are thoughts that Margie, the separate self, creates belief that I'm here sitting on a beach, being mindful, watching these outside creatures called birds and waves. And how does that feel for the Margie? Beautiful, peaceful, serene, whatever the words are that you would use. What's wrong with that? That's exactly what's happening. Beautiful. Now we'll play a game. Let's say Zubin is sitting there right now, next to you. What would come out of Zubin's mouth? And there, I have to imagine here, which makes it a little tricky because I'm using thought. But this is what would come out of my mouth. I couldn't say a word about it. There wouldn't be a center. There would just be waves waving, birds birding, sounding, margieing, all as one vibration, one appearance. There'd be no one there to be mindful, but there might just be mindfulness. Very hard to talk about because to use words, you make something out of things, and this is not a thing. It's not an it. It's not even a this. It's, you know, I don't know why I make these videos or go live like this, but there's something here that just does it. And I don't know that it has a purpose or a point, and I know that most people will be confused or misinterpret, and that's totally okay. But sometimes just hearing something in a certain way, something just apparently drops, even if it's for a macro moment in apparent time. And there's just something to feel about. Gabrielle says, isn't it a marvelous thing that God has created everything that we can see with our eyes? Everything here created is beautiful. Oh, it's all beautiful, all right. I don't know what creation means. I don't know what God means. I don't know that they're seeing with my eyes. I know all of that is a thought that can appear here, and that can feel very beautiful. It can be felt in the body as another appearance. I know the me that believes those things is another appearance that I can actually experience, that can be experienced, not by an eye, and the eye itself can drop, and then there's just. There isn't even a sense of I am. What did it say in the Bible? I am that I am. So even that sense of I am can stop. No one knows why or how. There's no why or how. And then it's just beauty, just this. Gordon says, I had a teacher in high school who used to say, the birds were birding and the trees were treeing. That's beautiful. They're just exactly what they are. And you cannot say what they are. The minute you try, you've turned it into a concept, a belief, a thought, something that's not knowable in that way. What do I mean by not knowable? What do I mean when I say not knowable? What do I mean by that? Not knowable. Typically, when we say, I know something, or that can be known in some way, we're referring to a center self that is sending out some kind of consciousness, some kind of awareness of an object. I'm aware of the birds, say. And that's what we're conditioned through the human social structure to actually believe, that we're separate. Our parents teach it to us when we're young. We look in the mirror and they go, that's not you. That's a reflection of a you that's here looking at it, right? And that makes sense from a getting around town standpoint. But when your teacher said the birds are birding and the tree is treeing, that means the knower, the one here who's aware of that, drops away. And there's just birding. And that even is saying too much, because since there's no one knowing it, it's self-obvious. It's just what it is. Gosh, how do you say this? Everything in this room, everything you're seeing, everything that you're hearing, all of it is just that. There's nothing aware of it. It is exactly what it is. There's no need for an observer. There's no need for consciousness to be aware of it. There's no need for a self. You don't need a me for all of this to be exactly as it is. Radiantly self-present, self-knowing in a way. But even that's saying too much. It's just exactly what it is. And yet we live in this illusion that I'm aware of this. I'm seeing this with my eyes. And of course, the illusion is quite compelling, because you can see eyes in a mirror. Our science tells us that light hits the retina and this happens, and all that's beautiful story. It's all great. But in direct experience, there's no eye. There's just thising, birds birding, trees treeing. Now, why does that matter? Well, nothing matters. But if you're constantly afraid, you're constantly suffering, you're afraid you're going to die, you're worried about the past and the future and all that, well, if you really look, if there's looking right here and now, there's none of that. There's just this radiant, eternal thisness. And it's always been that. and you see past the veils of mind. You don't see, I'm just speaking in this way. They're seeing. And then it's just this perfect, radiant mystery. And then the next thing that arises is a self that wants to own it. And the next thing that arises is annoyance at a person that's pissing you off. And it's all fine. It's all this. It's all the same radiant appearance. By no one, for no one. Wow. So simple and obvious, but not to the mind, not to the sense of self that wants it complex, wants it to make some logical sense beyond that. It's just this. That's it. John Chadwick, how can you use words when it's just this? And is that the same as Adya's aware space? All right, let's talk for a second. So yeah, words, it's a losing game. You can't use words, but that's the problem, is we can't talk otherwise. So we use words that don't really correlate very well to what this is or isn't. You can't know what this is because there isn't a you there. When it drops, it's just. So when Adya Shanti has talked about this in different ways, and this is my honest take on this. In the early days, Adya was, in his pointing, was very close to clear. It seems to be very ruthless. He even said, I'm not here to give you candy. I'm here to give you a sword. I'm here to cut your legs off to show you that you aren't. And there's only this. And then because he's a teacher and he has to use words and he has to connect with the people that are operating from the me, he uses, whoa, hello. He uses words like aware space or ground of being or this kind of fucking total bullshit. I say fucking total bullshit because it's another story. It's another thought. There's no ground of being. There's no aware space. What the fuck is that? You can see this is what happens when this Zubin thing starts talking from the experience of this. There's no aware space. There's no ground of being. That is a story that keeps us in mind seeking. Then we seek for the ground of being. We seek for the aware space. We seek, seek, seek. That's the we, the me that seeks. That's the apparent problem that you're trying to solve with the same instrument that constantly fucking creates it. So if I saw Adyashanti right here, I'd tell him to shut the fuck up about aware space. This revered fucking guru, you're nothing. You're an apparition. No more real than this. There's only this, and you fucking know it. I know you know it. Because the way you used to express, it was pretty clear that was self-radiantly obvious. But that doesn't sell fucking retreat tickets. It doesn't sell books. It doesn't fucking get video clicks. So we humans human. I do it. It's just how things are. It's just what's happening. But now I have no compunction saying aware space is bullshit. Consciousness is bullshit. Ground of being is nonsense. In experience, where is that? Freefall. Freefall. Doesn't mean that Adya's pointing won't point in some way that can cause, there's no cause. Forget what I just said. I don't give a shit about Adyashanti. He was my hero. I will say I have complete disillusionment in anybody else's expression of what this is that isn't sitting with me here, experiencing it, or even this together. Like, then we create this kind of space. I don't even know what that is, but something experiential is happening. Otherwise, forget it. Has nothing to do with you. Whatever you are has nothing to do with this. Yeah, it's like Adyashanti said, it's a sword. I'm not here to give you candy for the mind. I'm here to give you a sword to cut your head off. The head that thinks it knows anything about anything. Freefall. eternally, that can show up as everything. Nothing is excluded, including delusion, including story, including aware space, including God realization, including every mystical experience and insight you've ever had as another appearance. Perfectly manifest, perfect as it is. No need to change it because you can't change it, because it showed up as it was, and that itself is its entire meaning. That's it. And then then people ask things like Marlene asks, "Are you okay?" Do I look like I'm in distress, Marlene? When the one that would be okay or not okay relaxes, leaves the room, that illusion, then there's just this. What's to be okay or not okay? It's all perfect because it's all exactly what it is. You know, I wonder if like the people who've pointed to this directly over time, which is very hard to do because you can't use words, right? You just sit in silence, really. If they were just harangued by people asking if innocently and kindly if they're okay. Because for the me, this is absolute horror. For the me, the sense of self, it's its own end. Wait, you're saying I can't push and pull in reality? You're saying I can't make a better world? You're saying there's no meaning or purpose or direction to this life? Wait, you're saying it's empty of substance and all of this is an apparition? Yeah, that's what's being said. But when that's actually realized, when that illusory self stops, like you walk out of the room that was, or that just disappears for however long, it's just perfect. There's no problem at all. It feels like freedom for no one. And it's obvious. It's just like, whoa. So in that sense, you can't be more okay than this, because there's no more okay that can be had than the perfection of everything exactly as it is. See, I guess I'm okay. I'm not okay. The sense of me, the Zubin, sometimes still wakes up panicked at night going, I'm dying. Because I haven't had the blessing of having that me leave permanently and all at once. For me, it's like it steps out for a bit, has a smoke, and then during that time, it's just like, and then it comes back and it's like, man, that was pretty epic. I felt pretty free, man. I should make a video on that. I should tell this. There's a lot of reasons why that might be. Yeah, you know, I bet we're really all supposed to just wake up and see it that way. And, you know, the me is such a doofus. Oh, it cannot will itself out of existence. That's why you can't do this. That's why there's no hope for the me. There's none. Abandon hope. Let it go. No hope at all. Dave Dean, does existence actually exist? Even the question makes no sense, right, Dave? Does existence exist? This is all story. It's all thought. Forget even the question drops. It's like, what do you mean existence? I don't know what that means. There's just this. This is a total blackout, mystery, free fall. What? It's all just. So even the questions, when the questions go, you know you're sniffing up. I mean, you're not doing it, but you're in the right no place. Kathleen says, once you hit 60, you don't worry anymore. You won't worry anymore. I know. I'm 52. I already don't worry much. So actually, I do worry. Who am I fucking lying to? I don't worry as much as I used to, but I still worry about all kinds of things. I worry about retirement. I worry about my kids. I worry about, and when I say that, I mean the sense of me that thinks it's in control forms itself. It creates the entire view, and it's also perfectly this. So there isn't even resistance to that. Although I'll be honest, when it starts feeling fucking onerous, when it starts like, oh, I know it, it's like there's a knowing like, this is mind identification, this is suffering. Then sometimes the body just sits down and is quiet for a bit and just. And I don't think I could have done that when I was younger because I was too wound up. There was too much me energy. I think life beats the me energy out of you. after a while. That's why older people are just fucking cool, because they just chill out. They're like, I've tried all the things, doesn't make me happy. I know what does. Sitting right here and chilling the fuck out. Simple as that sometimes. Yeah, Evan Fox, retirement is amazing. Freedom and ease and authenticity. In a way, I tell people I'm retired because, you know, it's like I set my own hours. I do what I want. But it doesn't feel like what the image of retirement is, because retirement is, well, you're not working, you're not doing things. And I'm still like making videos and doing a lot of things, but it's like, it feels like ease and authenticity and freedom, except when it doesn't, except when it arises that there's contraction and there's struggle. And sometimes that's because something in my own experience or past has conditioned this to get contracted when triggered in a certain way, or patterns of behavior that just are like weather patterns that just arise and they persist for a period of time and then they dissolve. In a sense, you could say the me is a weather pattern that is rather persistent, like Jupiter's great red spot. If you've ever read about Jupiter's big red spot, that big red thing at the bottom of Jupiter, it's a massive storm. It's a cyclone that spins at hundreds of miles an hour, thousands of miles an hour in a particular rotation. And it's existed, we think, for several hundred years, but it's not permanent. That is a sense of self. That is the me. And the me is made up of all kinds of components of weather patterns, barometric pressure, conditioning, previous exposure to different jet streams that make it spin in a certain way in response to certain types of turbulence. And what can apparently happen is you can live your whole life apparently as that storm and never have the storm relax to see just what the blue sky is and what the other things are that are going on. But sometimes it can just relax before it forms again, or maybe it stays relaxed. Maybe it peters out. And then there's just the obvious expression that you were never separate. You were never a you. There was always just life lifing, birds birding and trees treeing, as we heard earlier. And that's even more of a kind of jaw-dropping, like, than anything in the relative world of the storm seems to be, in my experience. This experience. Emma, I got to go to my UPS store gave me a notification that your package has arrived. So I can't wait to get the mints and whatever else evil stuff you've hidden in there from the UK. Emma says, research says that over 60s report the highest happiness. Whether that means they got their shit sorted or they just gave up, I don't know, but it's something to look forward to. That and mints, exactly. I would say happiness has only increased with one caveat. So for me, for the me self sense that's getting tattered, my Jupiter storm is starting to tatter severely, severely. The storm doesn't like that. It's like, it feels really turbulent. So in that sense, it's more uncomfortable than anything I've encountered in my life previously. And yet look at the shit-eating grin on my face. So, yeah, Donald says I gave up. Yeah, that's a 60, man. I tell you, I've given up now. Kathleen says huge shift at that time, 60. For me, it's been it's been letting go so much. Wait, hold on. What? For me, it's been amazing. That's right, Kathleen. Yeah, right? So if all this awakening stuff is bullshit. It's a natural petering out of the storm of me. So what are you left with? Karen says, did something defeat you to the point of letting go so much? Oh. So for this sense of self, there was a defeat, yes. This was the defeat. No matter what I did, no matter how successful I was, no matter how many music videos I made, no matter how many followers I got, no matter how much validation I got from people who would recognize me on the street, no matter how much I looked at my family and said, this is a perfect thing here, like I'm so lucky, no matter how much I looked at my life situation was like, I'm so blessed, no matter how much I strived and worked to get even a little bit more stability, safety, validation, social standing, money, respect, sense of meaning. I'm going to change healthcare. I'm going to change the world. And I'm going to have a tribe of people that are going to do it with me. We're going to be a community that fucking gets it done. No matter how much that seemingly worked, we built a clinic. Our partners, Iora, sold it to Amazon. Like, it's now in Amazon's hands. Like, that model has been validated. Like, all this shit I could say was done, and there was plenty of failure. No matter how much all that shit got done, there was a deep sense of dissatisfaction. It's not enough. It's not enough. What's the next thing? How can I do this better? How can I finally feel whole and at peace and happy permanently? How can I do that? And guess what? Every single word I just said is coming from the seeking me energy, the mind that constantly wants to become. That's what it does. It's innocent. It evolved to do this. It's constantly trying to get the next thing. It's making problems so it can solve them constantly. And that was the great defeat when it finally became clear to me through sitting still, through sitting and meditating and watching the mind, watching the emotions arise, feeling the trauma of the past, seeing how it conditions everything I do, realizing, in a sense, I'm a pure robot acting out conditioning, and the mind is part of that robotic mechanism, algorithm trying to do the things. When that was seen, the great defeat was realizing it will never get what it wants. So then it stopped, even for a glimpse. And it was seen what this is, and you can't unsee it. There can't be an unseeing of this as it is without mind, without me, without self. Perfect, one expression, eternal, timeless, empty, full, freefall, perfection, beauty, unconditional love for itself. The great defeat was the greatest victory for the falling away of that illusion that was always creating the problem it was trying to solve, chasing its own tail constantly, 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 like a dog, a not very smart dog, but a dog that was too smart for its own good, using the intellect to constantly try to get the next thing, to make sense and meaning and purpose when there needn't be any. This is the meaning and the purpose. And so that was the great defeat for Zubin. And thank God, if there is such a thing for that. You're welcome, Chrissy. Simon says, I'm sorry I'm repeating my question. I feel it really relevant to your explanation of the Jupiter storm. What is your view on the thought of determinism, wherein every small molecular happening is the result of the previous? So I've talked a lot about free will and stuff in the past, and I've intellectualized about it, and I've tried to make sense of it. You can't find free will, determinism, hard determinism, that everything is acting out of causes and conditions beyond you. The neuroscientists agree there's no free will center, like all this stuff. Even the question of free will and determinism falls away because causality itself, time and space, are seen as constructions. So in the relative world, yeah, there may be causality, maybe there's determinism, maybe there's free will, who knows? But in this, even the question of that just goes bye-bye. There's nobody making decisions because there's nobody. There's just life. And it's a total mystery. You can't even say it's happening because it's fallen away before it can be grasped. It can't be grasped by anything. There's nothing there to grasp it. So determinism doesn't even make sense. What is determined? Nothing is happening. So the question itself just goes poof. Because what was the questioner? The me self, the sense of self, the illusion. It's all fine. Nothing wrong with it. It's what's showing up too. It is also this. But for me, that's just gone. I don't give two shits about those questions. They've just fallen. I could talk for hours about determinism, but it's a total story. Yeah. So the storm itself, yeah, it's causes and conditions, chaos, causality, all of it. And that's how it appears. So that's how the appearance seems to work. But when you really look under the hood, you realize, I don't know anything. There's nothing here. Nothing happening. Nothing has ever happened. It's this indescribability. Quite beautiful. Thanks, Simon. That was a great question. Dave Dean, the defeat of trying to deny the purity of just being unearned existence. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. It's like this defeat for the self, because the self is like, it can't just be this. It can't just be this. There must be something else here. And then when it's fully defeated, when it's exhausted, and that's why, look, I used to say, don't fucking bother doing all this spiritual bullshit. Don't go meditate. Don't go on retreat. It's a waste of your time. I've done all these things. I don't know that that's true. I think there's something there that exhausts the seeking energy. And when it shows up, go with it. Even now, something will show up, like I'll be having some kind of feeling of contraction, like there'll be a true belief that like nothing is okay, like everything is a mess, like a sense of despair. And that's when I know, that's that self energy acting up, because it doesn't want to be out of this game. It wants to create a problem. And when that happens, sometimes there's just a movement of the body where it's like, I go sit in my backyard room, in my meditation chair, and I'm just silent with what is. And sometimes what arises is surprising. Sometimes rage will come out and there'll be growling and just screaming. And it's nice because it's a separate room from the house, so I can do all that, let it express. And you realize there's conditioning. There's part of the storm that just needs to play out. It needs to express. You can't push and pull on it. There's nothing to do that. So it's like, now it just has to be allowed. And so sometimes just sitting, what we would call meditation, it's not a doing. It's not me trying to do something. It's just an allowing. It's like, here we go. What's next? And the seeking energy exhausts. It plays itself out. It exhausts itself. Something leaves. You could speak in that way, although nothing's leaving, nothing's coming. That's a story. Nothing's happening in that way. But the net result, if there is such a thing, is like, oh, okay, that's the next thing's happening now. So yeah, it's a necessary defeat. Exhaustion will be your best friend, Evelyn. That's right. Most of the big sort of clarity seems to happen after we're at rock bottom, you know? Yeah, we hit the bottom. We're scraping. We're like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I. Help me. Help me. Sometimes that will come out of my mouth. Help me. I'm just alone. I'm just like, help me, help me, help me. Listen to the words. This is me. The me energy crying out like, no, what about me? And here's the beauty. Life without me is pure life, lifing. It is absolutely okay, better than okay. And if me's back, that's cool. And if me's gone, that's cool. There's no way this has to be. There's no way that this is. So what happens when me leaves? Does this body-mind change how it is? No, it's still conditioned. Maybe some things change, like somehow I lost some weight. Somehow I started doing yoga. Somehow I'm less mean to people. I'm less mean to myself. I'm less invested in future and past. Oh, that's some practical shit. But in this moment, there isn't an I. There isn't any continuity. It's just, wow. Ethan says, one of the best moments in Doctor Who was when the line was said, in the end, we are all just stories, so let's make a good one, eh? Boom. Doctor Who, one of my favorite shows. Especially, I love this last season. That doctor was amazing. Of course, he went away at the end. I don't want to give spoilers, but it's really good. It's entertaining. You have to suspend your disbelief because Doctor Who is pure story. It doesn't even make sense most of the time. You're going, wait, why did that happen? Oh, okay, I'll just go with it. You start questioning this shit, there's no why that makes sense. It's the same as a Doctor Who story. Kind of perfect. Josie says, and all I needed to see the light, quote unquote, was a divorce. LOL. I was happy and fulfilled until that. And 15 years later, I'm still growing, learning, and being, but I find stillness and peace. There's no separation, moments of bliss. I do meditate, have done many retreats, India. It all helps to let go of this. Love you, Zubin. That's beautiful. Yeah. So it's arising here, Josie, to play devil's advocate for a second, not with you specifically, because I don't think this applies to you. Let's say you've been doing the yoga and the meditation and the retreats and the reading of Adyashanti and the reading of the Bible and the reading of mystical Judaism and the reading of Sufi and the reading, all of it. You're reading Rumi poems and you're trying to get it. You're still trying to get it. You're still trying to find the truth. And you look and maybe you have this, on one retreat, you have this incredible insight and it feels like it. Oh my God, that's enlightenment. I did it. It's so clear. It's so obvious. Everything is just this. It's falling away. And then that goes and you're back to this, apparently. And so you go to another retreat and you read some more and you maybe find a different teacher and you go, and do you see what's happening here? The me seeker, it's the same thing. Mr. MeSeeks from Rick and Morty. I'm Mr. MeSeeks, look at me. I'm Mr. MeSeeks, yes indeed. Just constantly wishing for the next thing, seeking the next thing. It's going to create the problem, which is I'm not awake. I had it and I lost it. And then it's going to try to find it again by doing all these things. And then it becomes this spiritual trap where you just forever. So what do religions do with this? They take all your money, they build big churches, they create big hierarchies and dogmas to keep you stuck in this morass. I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just how these things play out because organized religion is an expression of the me. It's like, I'm here and God is here. Let's keep it that way. Just my 2 cents. So at some point, let it go. Then when meditation shows up, it shows up. When a retreat shows up because reality wants to be experienced that way, so be it. Nothing wrong with that. But I'll tell you, sometimes I look at these spiritual seekers and I'm like, man, these guys are more fucked up than anybody. Anybody who's fully asleep. They've just, they're more fucked up because they're telling themselves a story that they're doing the right thing, that they're off the treadmill. And they're actually just on a more compelling treadmill, a treadmill with tighter bars on the cage around it. Simon, didn't expect a MeSeeks reference here. 10 out of 10. Listen, Morty, this whole thing about awakening is bullshit, Morty. It's bullshit, Morty. It's just this. It's just this. It's just sex, drugs, and rock and roll, Morty. Oh, geez, Rick. Oh, geez, I've been meditating for 20 years, Rick. Oh, geez, I went to all the retreats. Oh, geez, I had to suck the guru's dick because he told me I'd get enlightened if I took a load to the face, Rick. Oh, geez, Rick. Yeah, Morty, you're an idiot. Morty, you're an idiot. It's just this. That's right. Existence is pain, Simon. MeSeeks. The full. Oh my God. I never even made this connection, Simon. The MeSeeks says this. It doesn't want to exist. It's there to seek and go away. In a sense, it's the perfect analogy for the mind. This little mystical thing that shows up, helps you get something, and then goes bye-bye. But what happens in this episode is it can't actually fulfill the wants because Jerry's golf game is so shitty that no matter what they do, they can't fix the golf game. So they're just constantly there spinning their wheels. And then they start to say existence is pain. And they go haywire. That is the mind. That is the seeking mind. It's a devil in an angel's disguise. It's a great tool and a terrible master. Once again, Rick and Morty for the win. Yeah, Risa, what did I just walk in on? Well, a pornographic description of Rick and Morty and spiritual seeking. So, you're welcome, bitch. How the hell are you, Risa? Oh, Margaret has a great recipe for those cucumbers, by the way, but they have to be mini cucumbers for it to work. It's an avocado cucumber salad. Really good. And we spread it on this Taiwanese thick toast, this white bread. Oh, it's delicious. Simon, so it keeps multiplying and drags more and more down. Yep, that's MeSeeks. I'm Mr. MeSeeks. Look at me. I'm Mr. MeSeeks. Yes, indeed. You make a request. The MeSeeks fulfills the request, and then it stops existing. Except it doesn't when the requests never end, when the seeking never stops, and that's the human mind. Too much fun, gang. Heather McConnell says, when did you find enlightenment? It is good, but I was medical stuff, bad day at the hospital, family, what? I liked you medical stand. I think I know what you're saying. I don't know what enlightenment is. I haven't found that. The me cannot find enlightenment. There's no such thing. The medical stuff, totally get it. Zubin loved doing medical stuff when he did. Now it doesn't make sense to him to do that anymore for now, but that could change. You never know. You never know. I don't know this shit. Anything could happen. Yeah, Risa, remind me because I'll forget. Margaret has the recipe. Okay. I think we did a thing, gang. Probably time to go. Gone like an hour or something. Thanks for hanging out. The rest of your day, just free fall. Just this thing. See if you can find the center that you think is you. Where are you? Oh, I'll leave you with that. All right, gang, love you. Peace out.